there'll be a group of people who will have uh, black beards like the underneath of the pigeon, which is very black, and they'll be thrown. They will not smell the fragrance of Jannah. Now, I really research a lot, about this beard where the Prophet ﷺ has mentioned authentic hadith that when you be different, dye your hair because you're different from the Jews and Christians because they don't dye. So I was a bit confused, and as I done the research, I found one hadith in say Bukhari, Subhanallah. Imam Hussain al Islam, even Imam Bukhari said Imam Hussain al Islam is authentic, is authentic hadith, and you can say Imam Hussain al Islam, and when Ibn Ziyad and those his army martyred Imam Hussain al Islam, so his head was taken in front of the governor, and he started doing something, and Anas ibn Malik was there, and he quoted in say Bukhari that the Imam Hussain al-Islam's hair was dyed with wasma, which is a plant that has a black color. So he was 58, or some historians say 56 years of age, or some say 55. So that was black. So you can dye black; it's not an issue. Also, there's one authentic hadith in say Muslim and say Bukhari as well, that the Prophet ﷺ during the conquest of Mecca, he found Abu Bakr's father who was 90 years old or 80 years old, and he had white hair, and the Prophet ﷺ go and ask him to dye, and do not dye with the black, because he was an older man, so there's no need for him to dye black. So if somebody is 90 or 80 years old, there's no need for him to dye black. So the black can be dyed till the age of 60, and also you also should remember this. This is one of the miracles of the Prophet ﷺ, is that in say Bukhari, say Muslim, Anas bin Ibn Malik said, Razilullah Ta'ala anhu, is said that the Prophet ﷺ on his death, he didn't have more than 20 white hairs, subhanallah. And he was 63 years of age, subhanallah. It's a miracle that he was few hair here and some hair, white hair. And his beard was black. So this idea that he used to do red, no, he recommended for older people to do a red dye, a brown dye. Sorry, not red, brown. So younger people can dye black as long as they feel young. So alhamdulillah, I feel that I'm young, so I dye black. I don't do black, but dark brown I do it, or medium brown. Then I leave it for a while, then it turns black. So it basically is that the Prophet ﷺ's imitation as well, and also Imam Hussain al-Islam. So I follow Imam Hussain al-Islam that he used to dye black. That's why we find the Shias, they do black dye, and when they're old or young, they always do dye. And the Sunni Brelvis dye it, and they do black as well and brown as well, which is what the Prophet ﷺ. Now, the Deobandis and Salafis and Ahladis don't do it. I'm always against that because they don't do it. They follow what the Jews and Christians do it. I remember I go to different places, and once I was in a gathering where the Jew was sitting next to me. Across the meeting was some conference of the Doctors and Pharmacists Association in Alton Towers somewhere in 2000, I think 2003, and he was sitting with me, and I had a beard at that time, and I had slightly dyed it, and he said, you look good. And the same, after about a few years back, and the same person I met in the city center, I think, and he said, "Oh, Mr. Rashid, you dye, you look younger, the same I saw you 10 years ago." I said, "Yeah, alhamdulillah." He said, "Your religion is good, tell us you to dye, but we don't dye." So that is, one of the things that they noted, and they envy us in a way. So dyeing is not, and so these Maulvis, so those black, I was talking about the hadith in Sunnah Abu Dawud, is when I researched and did, who these people are. So in that hadith, it says group of people, log, wo log. It doesn't say, when the Prophet ﷺ says, wo shakhs means one person. One person. So when you read the hadith, you always be careful and understand it correctly when it's wahid, shakhs, one person or group of people. So I found that these Maulvis, which stand on the member of Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and not tell the public the truth, the true meanings, and just follow their desires just to collect money, I think these are the group of people who will not smell the fragrance of Jannah. And I think they'll be thrown in the hell. This because there's another these where the Prophet ﷺ said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will call a martyr, he will call a Maulvi or Alim, I call it Maulvi in a smaller term, and also a person who gives charity. So Maulvis is mostly terms, but Ilda mashallah they're good people as well. Maulvis are also the ulama of Yahud and the Jews and Christians are called ulama su in the Quran. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, astaghfirullah, I was reading it, as mentioned it, has given example that they are like a dog. The dog takes the tongue out whether it's full or empty. So as you can see, this applies to our Maulvis as well, because there's one authentic hadith. The Prophet ﷺ said that I fear that you will follow the Jews and the Christians in every footstep. Even if they go to a hole of a lizard, you'll go in there as well. So we're going to follow the same as Jews and Christians. And that's why Musa alayhi salam is mentioned in the Quran and the Jews, is because Allah wanted to warn us that we will be like them. And as you can see, we are today like them. We follow the money, we follow the desires. And these Jews used to do the same. When Isa alayhi salam, or Jesus, peace be upon him, came, and they used to give fatwas, take money, and count the money in their worshipping places, synagogues. And as you can see, people now count money in mosques. Same thing. So you give him money, it's fine. And that's how it is at this moment in time. So the different hadith, and this hadith I was talking about is about the ulama su, so you need to be careful. I'm not disheartening anyone. I'm not, my Maulvi when I say is due to the general term that we use. It could be scholars. And remember that Maulvis are human beings. They are bound for error, and they're bound to make mistakes. So one who is free of mistake and error is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's messenger, Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So his authentic saying is overrides anyone. That's why when the Maulvis do something, I tell them, is the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's command more dearer to you or your own command? And also you must remember that there was no Sheikh Google at that time, no Sheikh YouTube. So the ummah was divided because of the differences of companion, which really wars have occurred, and they have, Hazrat Ali Karmala Waju was rightly guided, and those people who fought against him are on the wrong. There's no doubt about it. Is in Hadith, say Hadith, and say authentic Hadith. So I'm not talking about a story or from the Shia story, but these are true stories. So when the Ummah was divided, the different schools of thought developed. So each one gave the source with the Quran, the Prophet ﷺ, and the companions. And then they made ijtihad, which is, and sometimes when you have ijtihad, there's difference of opinion. That's why you have difference of opinion with the fiqh Hanafi, with fiqh Maliki, with Shafi and Hanbali. That's why you have, because their human thinking makes the decision. So that's how they did. Now, after that, the hadith sheikhs collected all the hadiths, and now everybody sees it and says, oh, you don't do that. You don't say that way. You need to understand that at the time, there was no, these mobile phones or internet. They can use it, and now we've got it, and we say, well, we can't say it. So you need to gradually tell them, and for that, each one is, what they're doing is from the internet, they're trying to produce things which go with them, and they try to leave things which are against them. So if you read, you need to read the hadith books, say Bukhari and say Muslim, in order for you to understand. Because you need to from cover to cover. If you read the Quran from cover to cover, you do a tilawat, fine. You need to read the understanding from the cover to cover. They don't change the meaning. Some of them do change the meaning, but that's in brackets or there's a footnote. They'll make their own judgment. And sometimes they do change the meaning as well. But if you are, because in the Surah Al-Imran, there are mutashabiyat and muhkamat ayats. So those which are, like waqimus salata wa atu zakata warkaw ma'arakin, it talks about those namaz, zakah, and the jamaat. But others, you don't understand it, then you leave it. But Allah says those who have fitna of some in their disease in their heart, they'll bring those out. And they'll debate with you hours and hours. This is what the Jews used to do. So these Muslims, unfortunately, have gone to the same trap. So to remove the trap is you read the Quran from cover to cover with the translation, and you read, say, Bukhari, you read one hadith every day. There are not many hadiths. They're not, they say 100,000. No, it's not. Most hadiths are 10,000. They're different turks, means the different kind of narration. Say, for example, this hadith, innamal amalu binniyat. Yes, that's in different, Abu Huraira has quoted it, other companions, and so it has many turks, or many, traditions. So in that sense, it be found in 20 hadiths. So that's actually one of these, but found in 20 books of hadiths, or 10 books of hadiths. So in order for that, you need to understand there are only mainly 10,000 of these which are correct. So like I was saying, say Bukhari, say Muslim, Abu Dawud, Jami Tirmizi, Ibn Nasai, Ibn Majah, 6. Then we have Imam Malik's book, Mutai Malik. Then we have Musnad Ahmad. Then we have Shiba, Musannaf Ibn Shiba. This is another book, 38,000 hadiths with the companions' life stories in there, and their traditions, and the asar, or the things that happened during that time, like the Jang-e Jamal, Jang-e Safin, or Jang-e Narwan during the Mawla Ali Karmala Waju's time, and other issues have come up in those. At that time, I think someone told me that, a friend of mine told me that they have translated, but those books are written in Arabic. So remember that Sahih Bukhari was translated in Urdu, I think, or in Farsi in 1922. Before that, there was no Sahih Bukhari. People didn't know Arabs. The first translation of the Quran was in Persian. And this was in in India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. I think it was done in the 19th century. And even then, people, Shah Waliullah did the first translation. I think Sheikh Shah Waliullah, if I'm not wrong, he did the first translation, and people done fatwa against him that he's done a tarif and he has to run away. I think he was in hiding, as far as I read it, because some of the books which I read was when I was little, and in 83, 84, I've read a lot of books. I do have an idea, but after that, obviously, I haven't really. And besides, you remember that I'm not in here for debate for anyone. What I will say, I will speak the truth, which is to the Quran, sincerely. If I make a mistake, I'll ask Allah's forgiveness. And same with Hadith. You know the Arabic, you can learn the Arabic. I don't have to, say Arabic. Alhamdulillah, I will say what I can say, inshallah, and sometimes I will, because Arabic is not my first language. And also you need to understand that Arabic is not your mother tongue. So like English, you learn it, but the Gora English will be very good in pronunciation. That's why I always listen to the Arab Qaris. I don't listen to Pakistani Qaris. I listen to the Arab Qaris because that's their language, and that's how I understand the Quran better. We might try 100%, but we can't. So when you go to the mosque and a Pakistani Qari is there, don't say he doesn't know it. He knows it, but it's just that he cannot bring it to the levels of the Arabs, subhanallah. So the Arab is their language. So the Prophet ﷺ also said that those who learn, the Arabs will get one, for example, if they do, because that's their language. But those non-Arabs, which are Pakistanis, Bangladeshi, Indians, or other Muslims, if they do it, they will have 2 rewards. Because one is for the Arabic, and the second is that Arabic is another language. So that's why Tajweed, basically for the Indian, Pakistani, and Bangladeshi subcontinent, is mainly to pronounce it correctly. That's it. That's Tajweed. So if you say in English, for example, knife, you can't say knife. You say knife, but the K is there. Yes, you don't have to go to an English, some sort of a school or university to learn that. Anybody can learn that who has a little bit of knowledge. Same with the Quran. So you have to say, mainly the example I gave is kulu. Everybody, elderly, mainly I'm concerned, and those people who have little knowledge. Kulu. It's not kulu. Kulu means to drink and eat. So if you say kulu lahad, you're eating Allah, astaghfirullah. So you qul from the throat, the qaf, qainchi. So qul huwa Allahu ahad. That's how you say it. And alhamdu from the throat. There are about 9 letters that you need to understand. It's quite easy, inshallah. In half an hour, I'll tell you what tajweed is. It's to correct pronunciation. That's all. Once you know that, and that's it, inshallah, you read the namaz, and I'll teach you the namaz, and that's it. And the Quran, you read it, inshallah, Allah will give you reward, 2 rewards. And those person who stutters the same, because he's trying, he can't pronounce the word, so it's there. So these Maulvis who have read the Tajweed, and those who claim to be Shaykh al-Hadith and all these big jubbas and all these, I think I always fear for them. I run away from them. Because what they tend to do is make it hard for you. So you can't read the Quran. Astaghfirullah. You have to come to, some scholar, learn it, and then come to me. Astaghfirullah. You read the Quran as you know it, and you ask Allah's guidance, Allah will guide you. You are yourself. And if you do that in your family, you don't need a Maulvi. So Maulvis tend to make money out of you. So if there is a school of thought, if I say to you now, go and read the Quran, read the Hadith, say Hadith, and you'll know the knowledge, you don't have to come to me. So if you don't come to me, so I've got no business left. So in order for you to tell you one Hadith, come tomorrow, to next day tomorrow, that is money. There's money. They have no share in this world, in the hereafter. Remember that. The Quran clears those who, look at the Prophet ﷺ, look at the companions. One of the Rikkat Angez, or one of the sensitive, one of the sad hadiths I find is in say Bukhari, say Muslim, is that the Prophet ﷺ one was lying on a leaves, and he had a pillow bed of leaves. We have these cushions and beds and mattresses, elephant mattresses I call it, or what's it called? The other one is called my wife, Allah bless her soul, that hippo's mattress he jumps on, and there's a small bird who's having a cup of coffee. It was a cartoon or an ad, and the hippopotamus or hippo jumps on it, and the coffee stays there. I think it's called Silent Night. So these mattresses, and just remember when the Prophet ﷺ was lying down on the floor, on the leaves of date palm trees, and a small cushion made of leaves, and Umar walked in, and he saw Prophet ﷺ's arms, and like they were like sore, and he had tears in his eyes, and Ya Rasulullah, why the kings of Persia and all that, they are having a lot of furniture, a lot of things, and you ask Allah to give you more. And the Prophet ﷺ said, read it in say Bukhari, and he said, O Ibn Khattab, he didn't say Umar, O son of Khattab, we have taken the hereafter. Meaning, is the mafhum is not the exact words, but you can, the exact words, Ibn Khattab is correct, but what he meant was that these people have got the dunya, but we have got the hereafter. Subhanallah. So those people, now just imagine, sir, here as a Muslim, as a young person or a young female or anyone who's listening or understanding it, if they don't understand it, they can explain to the person, is, for example, the Prophet ﷺ can get anything he wants, but yet he's on the floor. Now, these Maulvis, these peers, these corrupt ulamas, crime ulama, ulama ikram or crime, someone told me this, I don't know, but these with these cars and these big sofas they're sitting, and they're preaching Quran, how can that have an effect on you? Nothing. It'll have no effect on you. Probably Friday they can gather you. On Eid they gather you and take the money of you. After that you don't see them. Why is that? Why is that? You have the passion for Muslim. You have the passion for everyone. You can listen to Mufti Mank. You can listen to other scholars on YouTube for hours and hours, day after day. But you have no time to listen to the Maulvi in the mosque. Any sect. Why is that? That is the reason. They are after the money. They want to hoard the money. And it has no effect on them. Even these scholars that go, they also hoard money. Mainly they are in for biggest events. I don't agree with these, Mufti Manks and other people who, I do have reservations, please, I'm not really a fan of everyone. They have weaknesses, but mainly their weakness is they have a free ticket. They go to Malaysia, Indonesia, or Dubai, big rich kingdoms, and they have luxury hotels, and speak into a rich family sitting, relaxing. What effect would it have? Nothing. It would affect an easy life, and that's it. You can't change it. It's not necessarily to give up their wealth, it's to make them humble. So if they have 5 million, so if they give the zakat, the next door neighbor will be rich, similar to them. But anyway, that's a political issue. I don't want to get into that one. But that's how it is. You listen to people of intellect, so they will disappear from these circles and come into YouTube and social media, and you love them. So inshallah, I have spoken enough. I will need to hope to speak to you again, and inshallah, my understanding of religion, the true understanding of religion from the Quran. Inshallah, I'll begin with the creation of Adam, and then all along in between, and then our purpose in life, and also our accountability, and how you need to understand that the true nature of the Quran and the Hadith, and in that sense, you understanding the true nature, you will have the true presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One of the things that I feel sad is that these Maulvis and these people have not really shown the closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And people unfortunately have died before and will die now without realizing why are they praying, who are they praying to, and what will be the benefits in the end. According to them, as we have knowledge now, is some Maulvi or Peer will take you to Jannah. Astaghfirullah. It's just like the Christian believe that Jesus, peace be upon him, died for their sins and they can enjoy, and Jesus will take them. Astaghfirullah. Mazallah. A prophet cannot take them. Who is more closer? The Peer or the Maulvi or whoever they believe is the prophet. So Isa alayhi salam cannot take them. How can a Maulvi take you? He is doomed, and he's taking you as well. I remember, as a joke, on a lighter note, I was in the 70s when I was studying. There was late 70s, early Dubai. Everybody knows Dubai, Abu Dhabi. All these Middle Eastern small states, Gulf states. At that time in the 70s, it was discovered oil, and it was developing. So everybody in Pakistan, taking the poor laborers, the cheap labor, and everybody going, and there's some crooks come up and they go to villages and say, and they first, one of them story is that this man, is a true story, is in some of the Punjab village. He went there, and in the evening he said, he went to the mosque first. He prayed, and he said that the mosque doesn't look in a good state. Here's 25,000 rupees for the mosque. So at that time, 25,000 was 25 lakh. Everybody was so happy. He said, they're talking, what do you do? He said, I send people to the bay. And what do you charge? He said, I charge 25,000 rupees, and that's it. Everybody said, okay, come to our house. So one of them took their house, and the bloody whole of the village came and gave him the money. He said, okay, I'll bring the, bring the passports to you the next week, and gave him the fake address. And there was no telephone at the time, so the fake address. And because they buyed into this religion, that's why I say, how they fool you. And one of these comes in my mind is the Prophet ﷺ in Sahih Bukhari, say Muslims, that Allah doesn't look at your face or your mal or your money. He doesn't look at your face or your money. He looks at your heart and your actions. Subhanallah. What a beautiful hadith. What a beautiful hadith. But today we look at people's face, badi dadi, you might get a badi dadi, bada nurani chehra, this and that. He's such a sparkling face, and he's so good, and he's spending the money. But Allah looks at your intention and your actions. So they said, because he's given to the mosque, let's go and, so they gave over all the money. So I think around about 5 lakhs at that time, and ran away. So in one of the cases, they actually took the people, and the bay was known as that it's an island, and there's a sea around it. So they took them here and took them to Karachi. Here in the 70s, people have no knowledge, no social media, nothing. So they went to Karachi, and they went into the boats and said, we're going to the bay, and they turned it around from, the one of the bays and to the other side. And they said, this is the bay. So they come off and they're walking. So they're confused that they see Pakistani speaking and all that. And they hold this Raksha wala, say, hey, excuse me, man, excuse me. Bhai sahab, ye Dubai hai. This is an Urdu joke, so I have to say it in Urdu. Bhai sahab, ye Dubai hai. So Raksha wala says, mujhe kya pata, main khud Muscat mein phir raha hu. Means that, I don't know if it's Dubai, I'm in Muscat. So these Maulvis don't know where they are themselves. How can they take you to to Jannah? So this is how it is. You need to understand this. It's a very delicate society, and also because the knowledge is real. Illa mashallah. I'm not saying that all of them are corrupt. Illa mashallah, that who Allah protects. Allah protects those who are real, but you won't find them. You won't find them. Most of them are corrupt. They're not corrupt, or shaitan has made them arrogant. Because they have knowledge, they become arrogant. And that's why you find them. The Maulvi is always separate. He doesn't mingle with you. That's why the reason I speak to you is Allah has given us more knowledge than these Maulvis. But I'm an ordinary man like you. I've been working, I've been studying, I've been, sporting Arsenal, I sport other teams, I'm from among you. And then you'll understand it better because I learned the way I learned it. Now I want to share it with you guys. So you take it, alhamdulillah. And if you don't, you don't. You don't have to agree with what I say. You don't have to agree with what I say. You only you believe what is right, and that's it, and find yourself, alhamdulillah. And then I say, if I don't have any, I have a business, medical center, pharmacy business. So if people, if I don't have more businesses, then obviously my business will dry up as it's now. So if the Maulvis don't see people, then the business goes. If you don't give it to them, so spend it yourself. Don't give it to them. They just hype you to give you more money. And mostly they quote, during Ramadan is about money and food. Nothing else. They quote these about, money and food. This much you give open to the fast, this much you get reward. You give money, you'll get this, and that's it. Nothing else. They will never speak to you about zakat, and they will never tell you. Inshallah, I will tell you first. First episode will be about zakat, about money, and haram money and halal money, and how you need to protect it. Because in the day, if the soul is gone, you're dead. And inshallah, I'm going to start my speech with death, inshallah. And may Allah guide you through the truth. And I'm hopeful that this video will be released, inshallah, and may Allah guide us to the truth. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا الْبَلَاغُ الْمُبِينُ وَالسَّلَامُ عَلَيْكُمْ وَرَحْمَةُ اللَّهِ وَبَرَكَاتُهُ.